look, I looked at a couple of these. I immediately got rid of the Rotten Tomatoes one because you pull that up, and I think The Force
like
Awakens is
Empire.
like number 2 or 3.
Yeah,
ridiculous, man. I was like, what in the fuck is going on here? But let's pull up the IGN one. This is ranking the Star Wars movies, and I'm just gonna let that roll while we're scrolling here because I do dig that one. But anyway, they ranked all the Star Wars movies, and number 11 on their list, and I can't argue with this. I think it's the worst one ever. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I can't. I just. I think maybe the droid. The droid Smith, isn't that what they called him? The little guy.
Smith.
What's his name? What was his name? Oh God, that little dude. I can't remember his name, but that might have been the only shining spot in that movie. Really, I was so off put by that flick. It wasn't
the little guy that was in the last season of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Babu Frick. That's it. Babu Frick. That was his name. That might be the only shining spot in that movie. And a lot of these movies.
No, they even mentioned that in a little paragraph in there too.
Did they?
Yeah, yeah, Babu Frick. But hey, at least Babu Frick.
But hey, at least Babu Frick, right there. There it is, right there. I'm telling you, that's about the only thing, man. I mean, when I heard they were bringing back Palpatine, I was like, you guys are just reaching now. I'm pretty sure I saw him die twice.
Well, you got that, and J.J. Abrams put in Kerry Russell, who he did Felicity with her back in the day. That was kind of J.J.'s first big thing, and he also had her in Mission Impossible 3. So he was going to get her in there one way or the other.
Oh, is that the chick that our X-wing pilot knew on the planet there? Is that her?
The one with the helmet that had like a big back part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like one of the from the Crystal Skull movie.
Right. Right. Maniac stuff. But it was just so bad. I mean, if you really want to enjoy Rise of Skywalker, I implore you, go look up Mahler's Rise of Skywalker and Unbridled Rage. It's much better. It's much funnier, and you'll enjoy it more, really. And it's longer than the movie itself, but it's great. Because I walked out of that movie going, God, something's wrong here, And then I watched Mahler's video on it, and I said, yeah, that's exactly what's wrong with this movie.
I mean, it is. In fairness to it, it could not have been a good movie because the previous two movies conflicted so much that there was no way to reconcile all that.
There was no way to fix it. There really wasn't. They brought J.J. Abrams back as a fix, and
which he was not supposed to do the third one.
No, he was not.
They should have just brought in what's his name, Tahiti, and just had a ball with.
Taika Waititi make it a comedy.
Yeah, just go, just fuck it.
And that would have been a lot better, maybe.
They probably would have been like an '80s themed Star Wars.
Yeah,
like who the hell knows?
I mean, there's so many points in that movie. You're just going, really? Did I really need to check my IQ at the door this much? The whole thing with the knife and it lining up completely when that thing's been there for 100 years, and
it sounds like the new Zelda game. Oh,
right?
It's been there for 1,000 years, and all of a sudden, wake up, Ganon.
How about the Space Forces on the Star Cruiser? Yeah. They couldn't have just kind of tilted the axis of that thing and got rid of those guys.
Well, the knife thing lining up. I mean, that would be fine. Maybe like with another franchise, like another genre. Mm-hmm. But it's just not. It's not like it really just. It's not a Star Wars thing.
Well, all I know is this: you saw how wicked the seas were, and this is a wreck, right? Mm-hmm. There's no way that's going to line up after how many years, right? I mean, come on, man! It's just so silly. It really was. But we could go on all night about it. But I don't want to give this movie any more time than we've given it. So. I'm pretty sure everybody agrees this is the worst movie, right?
Yes. Actually.
Wait. We got a dissenting opinion. What do you think is the worst one?
Okay. Now keep in mind the difference between the worst and the next one up.
Yeah.
Is minuscule. They might as well be tied.
I got you. Got you.
But we said that last night.
I have to put The Last Jedi a little bit lower than Rise of Skywalker.
Really?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
with
me
him.
too.
You go ahead. I think this is the worst. There's stuff in the Last Jedi I actually like, but you know,
But
I get the argument why you consider it the worst one.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
The comparison I would give would be like if let's say you had a house, if you had a fire burn it down, and then you had a tornado take off the debris.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
the
Right.
tornado might have been as bad as the fire, but the fire happened first.
yeah, and I will say this: The Last Jedi was the catalyst for everybody waking up.
Mhm.
Hey, this movie fucking sucks. Like, I'm supposed to love Star Wars, but I don't.
Yeah. Well,
Last Jedi
there was
created an
stuff in
entire
there.
section of YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's how many YouTubers' careers took off because of that
Yeah,
movie.
I
Right?
would say The Last Jedi is the worst because it started the chain reaction.
But
It
there was
wasn't-
good stuff in that
Yeah.
movie, though. We had heard for years, and I always make this argument about that
Yeah.
flick. We had heard for years about the progression of the Sith, how you have an apprentice and he grows, and eventually he kills the master, and then finds his own apprentice, and that's how they move on. There's always, a master and an apprentice, right? We had heard about this the whole time, but we actually saw it in Rise of Skywalker. We actually saw that moment where the apprentice killed the master, and he immediately was looking for his apprentice.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. That moment was pretty cool. Now, the fact that Luke had fucking, given up on the fucking Force and given up on shit, yeah, that was bad. But
Yeah, and that was.
But the deconstruction of Luke sucked. But the fact that he was on an island by himself, though, you can't say much about that because first time we meet Obi-Wan, he's in fucking seclusion. First time we meet Yoda,
but
he's in fucking seclusion.
When he got his lightsaber, he didn't toss it over his shoulder.
Right. Now that that shit was that was just
bullshit.
That was just trolling people.
That's the reason
that's what
why
I thought
say
the second
Last
I saw
Jedi
it, so.
is the worst one.
Yeah.
He also didn't milk some creature just to drink.
Yeah.
just to
Oh my
drink
God,
blue
yeah.
milk in
Did we
front of
need
her.
that?
Yeah.
That was crazy. I mean, half of that movie was like Ryan Johnson was trolling us. I mean,
As-
the whole Rose Tico storyline and the gambling planet, that whole thing was.
Dude, I
I
fell
mean,
asleep
you talk
during
about
that
a
shit.
fruitless storyline that went nowhere. I mean, I really, if there was one character that I liked in there, it was the hacker that they got.
Benicio
Del
del
Toro?
Toro's character.
Yes, but we didn't see him ever again.
Right.
I would have loved to have seen him, and that might have actually elevated Rise of Skywalker a little bit if that character had been in there.
That would have been like not having Lando in Return of the Jedi.
Yes. What the fuck? It's just dumb, man. Dumb. Okay, the next one on their list is Star Wars: Attack of the Clones. Now, that I agree with that one. That up until Rise of Skywalker came out, I thought that was the worst movie, and not like it was super bad or anything. It's just I know they had to set up the love story between Anakin and Padme, but it fell kind of flat. That movie fell kind of flat. The only thing that's any good in it is probably old Yoda perpetrating at the end, coming in like a gimp with the fucking cane and then throwing it away and fucking just jumping all over the place like a fucking frog, with the lightsaber. That was cool. But, the fight scene at the end of it was cool, but most of the movie was kind of boring. It really was. It was
The dialogue between Anakin and Padme.
just horrible.
George should have had somebody else review that.
He should have had somebody else, like he should have had somebody that knows something about, romance novels or something write that shit for him. You know what I mean? But I agree with that.
You see what
You mean it
Iron said?
You mean it wasn't like a 40-year-old version with the Steve Carell? It felt like bags of sand,
No.
Right? I have bags of sand. Shit, right?
What Iron said, right?
Let's see what Iron's saying. Jed lies. He want to get into Rose's potato sack. Oh my God!
What the
Check him
fuck
out.
ever,
Oh my
bro?
God.
Hell no. Hell no.
But I agree with that one. Knock, what did you have as number 10 on your list?
Oh, you want to go concurrently?
Yeah, just
I
I'm
was
just
I was
giving
gonna
some
be
comparison, just some comparison to it.
no, I was going to be silent the whole list and then go through mine.
Okay, that's fine. Then we'll do that, buddy. We'll do
By
that.
the way,
Uh,
the actress that played Rose Tico,
Yeah.
she's more attractive in outside of that role than she
Oh,
is
yeah.
in the movie.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
They made her a little frumpy.
They frumped her down, no doubt about it.
Well, if
Number
you want to
9.
go side by side, Joe, we could do that. If you want to switch over, let me present mine.
Okay, sure.
Let me get it back.
Well, while he's
But
looking
number
it
9
up,
on this list is the Phantom Menace.
my number 10 is Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
My number 9
What?
is Solo.
Number 9 is Solo. That's
Solo
what
made
I
no
would.
money.
That's where I put Solo at. Is here at number 9. That's what I would where I would put that one. I don't think Phantom Menace is as bad as people think it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Because it had my boy Jar Jar in it. So.
No, it had the Jedi in it, Qui-Gon Jinn, my friend.
And
The
it
guy that
had,
that is a koala in the rain and gives 0 fucks.
and
Okay.
they had
Right.
the undercover Sith the whole time in it. My
Right.
boy Jar Jar.
I got mine.
What you got there?
So number 10. Well, I don't even know if it's show number 11, but number 10 is episode 7. I thought that was it was a generic remake of A New Hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
A planet killer that gets destroyed in one shot. We've
Mm-hmm.
had that story already. It was such a terrible movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get a guy that's been training his whole life to be a Jedi versus Rey, who picked up a lightsaber
yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, and just can beat him in combat. That's not.
Yeah.
That's never happened in Star Wars history. Like,
It's never happened.
she's not that special. Even Palpatine, as strong as he was, not that special.
The only
No.
argument I would
agree with
make
Knock on that.
as far as that goes would be that I think he was wounded whenever they fought, but he wasn't like severely wounded or anything.
No, he got shot. Yeah. Chewie tagged him whenever he killed his boy. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, it was a superficial,
Yeah.
somewhat superficial injury, enough to where, yeah,
It was irritating him though. He kept pounding his side, But yeah, man. Okay, what you got at the
Iron
9,
said
brother?
something.
Number 9,
too.
I have Solo.
Yeah, see, that's the one. That's me too. What's Iron talking about?
Iron said,
Where you
do
put the Ewok films?
films?
Well, we're talking about the major features now, and there's only one Ewok feature in there, so it's up there a ways for me. But let's see. Solo, yeah. See, I take Solo over Phantom Menace for sure at number 9 because
Solo lost money, so
yeah, it did lose money.
I don't care about the.
Yes, Jeremy,
box
it did
office.
lose money. But the thing about it is,
It got
I
backlash
just-
from Last Jedi. That's the only reason.
well, the thing about it, you can tell two different directors worked on it. Knock, okay, and I liked the story, like we were talking about before the show. I really liked his origin story in the book better.
Yeah, the books were better than any of this crap.
I was trying to remember the name of the first book. It's At
Hansel at
Star's
Star's
End.
End.
What was the name of it? And it just a couple of paragraphs they had about him being an officer and Wookiee was the Chewbacca was his only witness at his court martial and all this stuff. It was a better story than what we got in Solo. And I didn't like how they came up with his name. It just
Yeah.
I did
Iron
like
said,
the actor. I did like the actor they chose to put in there. I did like him, but the story and everything just
I think the only cool part they had at the end was where Darth Maul was at the end.
yes, Solo and Rogue One are feature presentations, my friend. Yes, the theater
Iron
release.
Caster, they were at the theater. The Ewoks movie were direct to video.
Yeah, those were direct to video.
You know what I did when somebody gave me a free ticket to Solo? I turned it in to go see Deadpool 2.
You go, man.
Like
You
I
go.
said,
I went and
fuck
saw
that
Solo.
bullshit.
I did too.
Solo's my favorite character,
Yeah.
so I was hoping
Me
they
too.
do something good. But
Iron did. He said the Clone Wars are in the theaters.
right, yeah, and it's an animated one. Yeah. I never saw it, and I just went with the live action stuff, man. I don't watch the animated stuff at all, which everybody on this panel has given me shit about. Matter of fact,
yeah, we've given you shit about it.
Knock has told me I need to watch the Ahsoka playlist that's on Disney Plus right now.
I would just say,
comes
Joe,
out.
is that you gotta stop thinking of it, because trust me, I was in the same boat. I had no desire to watch a cartoon. I really didn't until I gave it a chance.
Yeah,
and it just slowly won me over. And it's like I don't think of it as a cartoon; it's an animated series, but it's lore. That's where it comes in. It's just lore.
Not
it's
written
canon
like
lore.
a cartoon.
Yeah. There's some pretty crazy, especially in later seasons, and that last couple episodes of the season 7 of Clone Wars is absolutely epic, because it's the final moments of Anakin Skywalker turning into Darth Vader.
And then you go and get the movie where it continues.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But let's continue on the list here. I will definitely have to give it a try, guys. I'll tell you this. I'm gonna start the Ahsoka playlist after this show. I'm gonna start watching it and see what happens with it. Let's see. It went back up to the top real quick. Okay, so they have 9 Phantom Menace. Nah, I don't put it that low. 8 is Solo, a Star Wars story. Well, you know.
Yeah.
We just got done discussing that one. 7 is Revenge of the Sith. I put this one much higher.
They actually swapped it for me, because that's my number 8 is
it
Revenge of the Sith? Yeah.
Wait. So they
my 8 is Attack of the Clones.
Yeah. Okay. See, Attack of the Clones is number 10 for me, man.
That's number 7 for me.
But anyway, what is it, Jed? What were you saying?
It's IGN. They always put. I know this because we actually did talk to somebody and then they got fired. They put shit ranked on purpose in like places to get people to talk about their shit.
Yeah,
that's
I got
what they do. They're listening.
Well, we're already experiencing that with the video game one we're doing, right?
We were talking to somebody that got fired from there that helped them with their list. I did, at least. He's like, yeah, IGN doesn't give a fuck. They just put shit, whatever. And if it's a bad movie, they'll put a bad movie at the top just to get everybody talking. It's just clickbait bullshit.
Well, this is better than a lot of the ones that I saw. Because trust me,
I know, but IGN, Kotaku, all those fucking, they do it on purpose. Just get the clicks.
My 7's Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace? Yeah.
Attack of the Clones is number 7 for me.
Yeah, I'd put Phantom Menace around 7 for sure. But Revenge of the Sith, for me, it's the best of the prequels. I think it's the best one.
That's a good movie. I agree with fucking Jeremy.
Except for one scene.
What's that?
When he stands up and goes, "No!"
Oh,
yeah. We could have done without that.
But that has turned into such a great meme, though.
Yeah.
Okay? It's meme history now. So like,
that doesn't mean I enjoyed watching it.
The most memeable moments, the old homeboy sitting there with no arms and legs burning up.
Yeah.
And, the healers be saying, "Why'd you stand in the fire?" But
Revenge of the Sith, it had a lot. It had a lot that it had to tie up.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, I really wish I had a copy of this book. I don't. John, you might remember this thing. Of course, I was. I've got some things I'm going to show you guys after we're done rating the movies. That's some of the stuff that was out at the time, besides the toys, that they were putting out the Art of Star Wars, all of Ralph McQuarrie's artwork that they built all this stuff off of, which is awesome, by the way. I'll show you some of that.
He did awesome.
But God, I lost my train of thought.
Choo choo.
Yeah, right. It's gone. I'll get back to it. It'll come back to me. But anyway, oh yeah. I know what I was thinking of. There was one book where they talked about the history of Star Wars, where it had George Lucas's synopsis for all 9 of the stories. He had actually written 3 trilogies, and the third trilogy was nothing like what we got from Disney.
Oh no, it wasn't.
As a matter of fact, I think they have the race in the extended lore. What's that race that's cut off from the Force and they really can't feel them?
Yevon.
What is it?
The Yevon Bong.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're involved.
However you say their name.
They were in something like that was involved in the third trilogy when they were rebuilding the Republic after the Death Star was destroyed. If I remember correctly, that's the way it went. But
I hate to use Vong, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great story.
Let's see. Ironcaster says, I'll watch the prequels for the memes. Is the modern I read Playboy for the articles? No kidding, right?
See, he knows I'll grab memes out of shit all the time. I'm like,
yeah. Anyway, that was really cool. We got Revenge of the Sith, and then we got
with George Lucas originally, I think with episodes 7 through 9, he wanted to have it get into the wills, like WHIL,
the Journal of the Wills.
Yeah.
Yep. And also,
the thing about it was this is what I was forgetting to talk about. When the third one came out, when Revenge of the Sith came out, I knew what was going to happen. I'd already read it. You know, I already knew what was going to happen. I mean, right down to him getting burned up. That everybody that had read this stuff knew what was going to happen to him. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's like Oppenheimer in the Titanic movie. Like,
right? You know what the ending is. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, a bomb's gonna drop, and Oppenheimer, get the fuck out.
Right. I think one thing they screwed up a little bit though was the fact that like Padme gave birth and then died. You know, because Leia in Return of the Jedi remembered her mother faintly.
I remember she said that.
You really can't do that as a newborn. I don't think. I don't. I don't think that's really humanly possible.
I kind of. Well, yeah. You said it right there. Humanly possible. They're Force users. So.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
What she could have been seeing was an inkling of the Force, and the fact that she died of sadness, would have made her sad.
Which she did.
Yeah. No, I think part of it could have been explained away by the Force. Yeah. So she's not a normal. Normal human being wouldn't remember being born and.
Right.
And the end of that movie was kind of rushed too, because you had them trying to put everything together, the kids being born. And the Empire being born right there,
right? Yeah, it was
kind of rushed too, but it was a good movie.
But it was a good movie, man. There's some parts in that movie I really dig. That part where you actually saw why the Emperor looks like a fucking wrinkled ass old prune.
Yeah,
when he's fighting fucking Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mace Windu. That was really cool. If
there's no body, they're still alive.
That's right.
I've been saying that for years.
Still out there somewhere. He's just sticking around somewhere.
Anna said, "What's up?"
Yeah, I saw that. I put it up there. How you doing, girl? It's good to see you. Good to see you. So that let's see. We had The Force Awakens at number 6 on this list.
Yeah,
that's my 6. That's my number 6.
Yeah. That's a good place for it, if you ask me.
I had Last Jedi at number 6.
Yeah. Okay. Last Jedi is much higher on this one. That's for sure. Rogue One is at number 5 on this list. That's actually up around number 3 for me. I dig that movie, dude. I really enjoyed that one.
I actually had mine at number 5 as well.
Did you? You're exactly the same on that one, huh?
My number 5 is Revenge of the Sith.
The problem with this movie is we know what's going to happen to them. We know they're all getting whacked. Going into it, we know they're not going to make it. But
the great thing is that they actually made it, so none of them made it. So
right,
they tied it up very nicely.
Very nicely. There it is.
You don't have to worry about did they make it? Did they Samuel L. Jackson?
But no. Boys and girls, the single best fucking Darth Vader scene in any movie ever. I mean, come on, man. When he's wrecking all those fucking rebels at the end of it, it's fucking amazing, man. That was awesome. I dug the shit out of that.
Definitely the best moment under Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man.
We all got scammed by Rogue One, and they gave a shit from then on. So.
Yeah, right. Like, damn it, they threw us a cracker, and then they went right back to their.
I didn't like the CGI Tarkin. I think they could have done that.
Or the CGI Leia. That was horrible. That really. Oh yeah, that didn't look good. It really didn't.
I didn't mind it too much.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, why not just go ahead and recast it and just. You'd know from the hairdo it was Leia. You'd know from the uniform and just get somebody that's gaunt.
Well,
you'd know it's fucking Peter Cushing.
Recast it or show the back of their heads.
Yeah, show the back of their heads. I mean, yeah, that's all you'd have to do.
Especially with Leia,
they replace somebody with Tarkin. So.
Look, as an artist, let me tell you, this is the problem with those CGI characters. All you have to do is look at their teeth, and they look like chiclets, and it just looks horrible. It's like CGI artists do not know how to do teeth. They can do everything else. They can do hair, they can do eyes, they can do all that, but they cannot do teeth. It's ridiculous.
There was they had a different actor play Tarkin briefly in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had him in Rogue One. The only thing is I've never heard him speak, so I don't know if he sounds anything like Tarkin or not.
Yeah, but I mean, with today's technology, I mean, just look at Top Gun Maverick. When Iceman's talking, that was them melding old patterns from his voice, his actual voice in other movies, and his own son's voice.
Yep.
That wasn't his voice.
Yeah.
So it could be done. It could definitely be done with today's technology. But anyway, Rogue One.
The people at Disney are just lazy. So
yeah, well, they're overworked. That's what they are.
They're lazy and bullshit.
Dude, look how much shit they're pumping out. If you hear from any of these guys, they are worked to death, the special effects guys, and it shows because it looks like shit. Anyway, Rogue One at number 5. That's a good place for that one. This one's got The Last Jedi at number 4. Now, like I said, I put that way lower than it is.
Yeah.
I put that way lower than it is.
They did that just to piss people off.
Yeah,
basically.
I know.
My number 4 is Rogue One, but it's one of those cases where I couldn't. It was either going to be Rogue One or Jedi, and I went with Rogue One because I couldn't really put part of the original trilogy any lower than 3.
Right. I got you. Actually, I think this is probably where I'd put Rogue One at is number 4. I really would. And you got the original at number 4. Mm-hmm. You like 3 movies better than that one. Wow.
Well, it worked for IGN, Doc. Come on now.
Yeah, right.
I think we know IGN.
Are you trying to go to work for him, man? What's the deal?
So my thing for Last Jedi, and the reason why I dug it, like Rian Johnson got a shitty story.
Yeah, he did.
He was stuck with characters he didn't want. He was stuck with Snoke, so he killed him. Mm-hmm. He was stuck with Phasma, so killed her. It was just stuck with these characters. It had to create something out of nothing, and it was just kind of a mess. And but the fact that he killed him off was probably my favorite part of the whole movie, was him just getting rid of shit. And it was just a shame
editorializing on the screen, just lopping off the fat. Yeah.
And then of course they had one of the best cinematic scenes ever. With the starship blowing up in space, which is probably my favorite scene ever in any Star Wars.
Oh man, the Holdo maneuver. Right?
The whole theater gas.
Yeah, but that whole fucking storyline where the thing's running out of fuel, that was just. I was like, no, this is not the things I've ever heard.
So like I said, go back on like 35 years of history now. Okay. You guys are fucking idiots.
All I could see is that scene in Austin Powers when he's on the steamroller, and the one guy's going, and the guy on the ground's going, ah, and they're going, ah. That's
well, the thing for that one was that it was the first time, like in a long time for Star Wars. I was like, before 9 came out, obviously, but at the end of 8, it was like when they had that kid pull up the broom using the Force.
Oh,
that was cool.
I was like, dude, I can't wait to see the future of Star Wars. Like that was such a cool scene. Like the potential could have been like, are we going to get the Academy? Like that was like, are we going to start getting the assembly of Jedi in the next one? And then they fucked up with the 9th one, so nothing really came of it.
That was like,
but I think the way the movie ended with that was such like there was hope because they ended it with hope. That was that was the whole thing, and it was like there's future of Star Wars coming, and it was I just felt like it was the start. It could have been the start of something, and then it just got erased basically after it got rid of all the dumb shit that we didn't need. We didn't need Snoke with his dumb no story
and how he died.
We didn't need any of it. So I that's what I liked about it. It got rid of a bunch of shit that we didn't need, and then there was hope, for the future of Star Wars.
But it was just frustrating because hey, let's give you 3 movies worth of shit and then give you hope at the end. Fuck you guys! Like,
when I saw the kid do the force pull with completely untrained, by the way, which shouldn't happen.
I know.
What are you talking about? People that use the Force didn't have to go to Academy to learn how to use the Force. That was never a thing.
It came from somewhere.
That was never a thing.
There's sensitives for sure.
They may not have known what they were doing, but people utilized it all the time for a myriad of things. And him discovering how to do that is not a strange thing.
Not something as advanced as a Force pull.
Yeah. It could have been anybody. Anybody could, at any age, like they could discover that they've had it in the past, even in the extended universe.
Ann is agreeing with you. Yeah, the sensitives, they probably are doing something that's normal to them that they don't even know is supernatural.
In the book,
they don't even know what the Force is. A lot of these kids don't even know what the Force is because it's been completely eradicated.
Mm-hmm. They literally say they don't know what this is and they don't know how to use their power. And tons of the books. Mm-hmm. So they went and counteracted what they said in the books because we know Disney doesn't think they're source material. Fuck Disney.
Yeah. Well, okay. We get the fuck Disney part, man. We get that.
No. Anyway, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. I don't think there's any book that says definitively that they don't know how to use the Force. They might not know what it is. There's plenty of religions.
Rey knew she knew everything right off the bat. She knew how to throw a lightsaber, fucking dodge.
When she used that mind trick.
I'm not defending what Disney shows as how you learn the Force. I'm just saying that a kid can't use the Force because it's too advanced for him.
Oh, I agree with you.
There's no precedent as to saying there's nothing in the history of the Force that says you have to wait until you're older.
What I liked about that scene, was we've this whole time it's been about the Skywalker bloodline. Yeah. There's other people that know how to use the Force. There's other Force sensitives. That's what I liked about it.
They're all over the quadrants in
Let's get some different blood in here. Yeah, that would have been nice,
You will never see Broom Boy again.
Never see him again.
No,
never.
No. Hey, there's a chance. Ray's got an academy now. Ray's got an academy.
He might be one of the dudes at the academy.
And what would be the best? You know what? Here's what would get me going. If they want to start that movie off right, they have the temple, right? And right at the entrance, you have an older teenager that pulls a broom up from the ground with the Force, and that's how they start the movie.
Yeah,
he's just sweeping the temple.
Just something random in there. And like the kid in the funeral scene for Tony Stark in Endgame, right? The kid, everybody had to Google him to find out it was the kid from fucking Iron Man 3 that helped him out the whole time, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Just something, they don't even have to explain it.
Put him in there like that.
They don't even have to show him for the rest of the movie. Just that one
scene. He'll be the janitor for
that.
The fucking place, right?
Yeah, I'm just like,
that'd be hilarious.
Well, I knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere. I'm like, nope, that's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
especially when J.J. Abrams was brought back in. So
the trilogy was a pissing match between J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson.
It was. That was a mistake in the first place. It should have been one guy.
Yeah. The plan was what failed them. No doubt about it. The plan. There was no plan. The first 3 trilogies we had George. That was all shit he wrote, right? So it was all congruent.
And even at the time, it was heated.
The biggest mistake he made. Yeah, no shit. If Disney did anything, all they did was make people love the prequels more than they ever did.
I already love the prequels. So
I did too. I grew up with them. So
the problem with the prequels he should have never done the Metachlorian thing. That fucking was stupid as shit.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
That was a little out of.
That was dumb.
Random. That was like trying to apply science to it.
Yes,
like, it
come on.
Yeah.
This is mystical. This is it's mythological. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't have to explain exactly.
You don't have to explain this shit, man. It's Metachlorian counts through the roof. Okay,
I mean, it's almost like video game stats or something. It's like saying,
the fact that he's a virgin birth, that's not enough for you.
You know, he's a 1500. He could never beat somebody that's a 1300 or
they explain that, but
yeah. But anyway, let's continue with the list. Number 3 is actually my number 1. Return of the Jedi.
That's my number 3.
The reason why it's number 1 in my book is because it's just because of my experience with this one.
Yeah.
I had just graduated from high school and I was about to join the Army, and I was 17 years old. And it's just that it is the reason why I still go to movie theaters to this day for certain things, and I will always go to the movie theater to see what I really want to see on the big screen, is because of the experience I had with this movie right here. But I've got it at number 1, and I'll just tell it real quick, guys. What happened was that movie was coming out on a Wednesday. They opened it on a Wednesday, and my aunt wanted to pick me up. She was in Metairie, which is around New Orleans, closer to where Matt's at, down in the Gulf. And I'm up in northern Louisiana, right? And she wanted me to come down and visit. And I said, look, you can pick me up on Tuesday or you can pick me up on Thursday, but Wednesday, I'm going to be in a theater. So you pick Tuesday or Thursday. And she said, why? And I told her what was going on. She goes, okay, I'll pick you up Tuesday. And she dropped me at the theater at 6:30 in the morning. On her way to work, there were already 80 people out there. Now, this is before you could buy advance tickets and shit. You had to be in line to go to the movie, right? And there was already 80 people out there, right? They had a Charlie O machine, which was an old fountain machine for sodas and stuff. You could get a soda out there. There was a guy. Now, back then, guys, these movies took good 4 or 5 years before they put it on VHS. They didn't go straight to fucking video.
Yeah, it took a long time.
And there was a guy playing it was the first time I ever saw a bootleg movie. The guy was playing Empire Strikes Back on a TV set on a VHS tape. And I asked him where he got the tape. He said, oh, it just appeared in my VCR one day. I was like, okay, whatever. But I sat there and watched it, and I heard somebody up at the front of the line hollering Joe. And I was like, I'm down in New Orleans. Nobody knows me down here, right? Yeah. And I look up there, and sure enough, there's 5 guys. They're all in OD fatigue tops and cut off OD pants and stuff. They're wearing kind of military gear. It's a bunch of guys I went to fucking leadership school at Barksdale Air Force Base. They're right up at the fucking front of the line. So I ended up in the front of the line. We got great seats. And every time one of the characters came on screen the first time, the whole fucking place erupted in applause, I mean, even, because the first time you see Luke in that movie, he's a hologram. And when he appeared, everybody lost their mind and shit, And
the last
when Darth picked him up and threw him down that well, popcorn flew all over the fucking place. That place exploded, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's the best fucking film experience I've ever had in my life, was going to see Return of the Jedi for the first time. And it will always be number 1 in my heart. Even though I think Empire Strikes Back may be a better movie, this one will always be number 1 to me. So, yeah. What did you guys have at 3?
I had Return of the Jedi at 3.
I had Jedi at 3.
So, yeah.
The
OGs are 3.
I have a reason for this. See, he loves the prequels, man. He does. Yeah, Phantom Menace.
Too.
Excluding the midichlorian stuff, the reason I liked him was, one, I was a kid when I watched this one. So I was 11, I think. So Anakin was me. I wanted to be Anakin. Kind of deal. You had Liam Neeson. Now you mentioned, Joe, earlier about the Sith being the first time that you saw a Sith take the mantle from another Sith.
Right.
This was the first movie that we've ever seen where you saw a true apprentice and master working.
Right.
Liam Neeson and McGregor, working together as Padawan and master.
Right. You did the whole film. They were side by side. Yeah.
And that was such a cool dynamic. And then as a kid, I was fine with
Oh,
Jar Jar Binks. So I always have a special place in my heart.
See,
for Jar
I
Jar
got
Binks,
so much respect for Knock now because he said he was okay with Jar Jar.
And honestly, and to this day,
my boy.
And to this day, I still pray that we will eventually get Dark Jar Jar.
Dude, I want Sith Lord
I'm always
Jar
going to
Jar
be a fan
so
of that.
fucking
I'm always going to be. To me, it just sounds so plausible. It's
See,
never going to happen, but I love it.
He good man
Well,
right there.
the Clone Wars TV show, it sort of trolled us with having Darth Jar Jar. I think there's a scene in that show where like he puts on a cowl, and so it's either that or in Revenge of the Sith. I don't
You know what's funny is I saw the script for the second movie of what was going to happen. Some of the script.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
what we could have had.
To wrap up the Phantom Menace, there was you had that relationship that was so cool, and then you had a Qui-Gon looking for an apprentice. You got to see Coruscant for the first time, and him being introduced to Jedi Council.
Yeah.
That was such a cool thing.
Yeah, you got to see the Jedi Council,
and you got to see Yoda, and you got to see the other masters. You got Samuel Jackson in that movie, and it was such a great cast, and then,
it gets a lot of malice, but I don't understand it myself. The pod racing scene is off the chain, and
the pod race that's on my game list that I have later on.
And and Xbox last month gave the pod. They did an upgraded version of the pod race game, and they gave it out for free. Yeah.
But then to the last thing I'll say is that you had the best fight scene of all those.
You had the best lightsaber fight,
best music
ever.
The music
ever
was the best. One of the best songs, apart from the originals. And that fight scene, and then Qui-Gon going down, and then you got Obi-Wan taking over the apprenticeship.
And what I loved about it, I will applaud you for that. Because I show it to people all the time. Right after Qui-Gon gets killed, it's almost like Obi-Wan's about to go to the dark side because he really wants a piece of that motherfucker when he's bouncing behind that fucking shield, waiting for that thing to go down.
Well, that was always the thing about it. He was never close to going to the dark side. This guy.
No, I'm just saying he was ready.
But he was definitely headstrong when he first started.
But
that's why Obi-Wan says, "So do I." If you remember, or so did I when when Yoda's talking about Luke being going into danger.
So was I. If you remember,
if you remember, he was headstrong when he was young, but then he grew into it, and he was
the reason why I think he had.
So that's why it's number 3 on mine.
Yep.
I went to look for it, and it wasn't where the rest of them were, so I don't know if I've lost it or not. But at a convention, there's a guy that does the little small pictures. And they're like cartoon characters, but different. Like I've got Snoopy as Archer's Porthos.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
And I've got Dot from Animaniacs as 7 and 9 going, "I love my new Borg implants." But I had one of Darth Jar Jar.
Damn it, son! Bro. You better find that thing. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. And it's Gameland, and I think this is in defense of Knox point about the Force sensitives. You must understand that not even the Jedi know all there is to know about the Force. No mortal mind can. And Jed also quoted, he no longer clung to the simplistic ideals of right and wrong or good and evil. He understood better than anyone that dark and light were intertwined in a strange, complex ways. Revan. And then Tim Hayes says they cut out the scenes in Return of the Jedi where Luke constructs the new lightsaber. They cut out this. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's interesting because that's really the mark of one of the marks of a Jedi is
creating making your saber. Yeah.
So. Yeah. Darth even says it when he's looking at it. When he turns himself into him, he's like, "I see you've constructed your own lightsaber. You really have, grown." And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I actually did see that scene at a convention one time, but I never seen it again.
Wow.
So
okay, so number 2 on this list is A New Hope.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
It's number 2 on my list as well.
Yeah, I number 2 on my list.
Yeah,
it was number 4 on mine, but that's just because
but without this one, none of the rest of them get made.
Right.
And I've made this point to you younger guys that know way more than me about Star Wars. You will never know the feeling that me and John know, and that is
and me too.
That Star Destroyer coming over your head for the first time when nobody'd seen anything like that on screen before. Nobody had seen. I mean, probably the coolest thing we had seen in a movie up to that point was the shark in Jaws, and we only saw it for like 2 seconds, really, in the movie.
It's because they broke the shark.
I didn't see Jaws until after, because I was only 5 when Jaws came out.
Dude, my dad drugged me to that movie, man. Yeah, that was in 75. Yeah, that was 2 years before Star Wars.
That's.
But guys, you just don't know what that did to the world. There's a reason why that movie took off.
Dude,
like
and you had those Adobe speakers on each side of the theater and everything, and you hear the. You see the crawl, and you hear
the music, everything. It was crazy.
And you see the Star Destroyer in the theater while you're doing this, and you just see it coming over, and you hear it.
And it continues and continues and continues and continues. You're like, damn, is this thing ever going to end?
I'm like,
good Lord.
I'm like, I was a kid at that point. I'm like, God, this is one of the most awesome movies ever. And it just started.
I'm 7 years old. I've got my small popcorn. I've got my box of Whoppers, and I've got my Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't touch it for half the movie.
You're just sitting there, jaw wide open like this.
Yeah, I didn't touch
Yeah, it was amazing. It
my
really
dad
was.
usually.
I feel like
my mom usually gave.
I feel like the only way I can get into that kind of euphoria at this state is to like be drinking and then watch a movie I've never seen.
Right.
Like I don't think I can ever get that that childlike wonder and appreciation.
I've had it since. I tell you, I think the last time I had it was probably the first Spider-Man movie. I'm a Spider-Man geek. I enjoyed the fuck out of that. When I saw the trailer for the first Lord of the Rings movie the year before it came out, I damn near jumped out of my chair. My wife was like, "What's going on?" I said, "They're finally making a live action movie of it." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "It's Lord of the Rings. They're doing Lord of the Rings. I can't believe it." I freaked out, man, because I read that book when I was 11 years old, about a year before I saw Star Wars.
I think the last movie that got me was in the theaters, watching it theater. I was like, "Holy shit!" The whole movie was 300.
300, yeah, great movie.
Yeah,
great stuff.
For me, it was Endgame.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I loved. I guess the MCU movie I've dug the most in the theater was Infinity War, even though Winter Soldier's my favorite one out of all of them. Infinity War was something else. That was something else to see on a big screen. It really was.
When Cap caught Mjolnir,
dude, when he grabbed the hammer, I mean that whole.
And I was waiting for that.
Thor going, I knew it.
I knew it. Yeah,
because we had that in in the DC versus Marvel thing, when everybody went down, we had Superman getting the hammer, and he picked up Cap's shield, and I was like, "Let's go!"
Yeah. I would say Captain America with the shield. Dude,
I was so happy he had the best of both worlds. And
but unfortunately, that wasn't continuity. But Cap has picked up the hammer in continuity.
Yeah,
in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was so happy when I saw him pick up that hammer.
Yeah.
So
Knox got Empire Strikes Back at number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I would make that number 2 myself. A New Hope would have been number 3 for me, and this would be number 2. I'm with you on this one, because number 1, like I said, for me is Return of the Jedi. That's my favorite one. And let's see what IGN puts as the best one. They say it's The Empire Strikes Back.
I'll at least have some common sense.
Yeah, a lot of people think that's the best one.
Yeah.
I put New Hope above Jedi simply because of it's how I felt as a kid when I watched it the first time.
Yeah.
And there's a magic there that will never be replicated.
Yeah.
At that level ever again.
I thought that the first Star Wars movie broke me, but then when I saw that second one broke me even more. And I was just,
Well, you know what? I've said it to people several times, and Knox got the same one as I do as number one. And what's your reasoning for it, Knox? Why do you like that one so much?
For me, like, and it kind of brings in the books a little bit too. For me, this is the end of an era, and then when you go into the books, they actually do. You know how before Christ, after Christ.
I got you.
Before Yevon, after Yevon. Like it's literally the end of the
they do.
Before Endor, after Endor.
You have all these New Republic, New Jedi Academy.
It's actually after Yevon. It's actually after Yevon.
So. First, be honest. It's Carrie Fisher
after the first one.
Slave outfit, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that too. Yeah, I mean,
she was.
I mean, that's kick ass. Oh. Yeah. I mean, it's got its problems. I think it wouldn't have been. I mean, the Ewoks were clearly a fucking merchandise grab. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Lucas even said they were made to be toys to sell.
Yes, absolutely.
He bluntly said it. He goes, the reason why our Ewoks are there so I can get the merchandising rights.
Because originally the way you wrote it, it was supposed to take place on Kashyyyk. Is where it was supposed to take place.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Wookiees.
Yeah, but
that's the reason why he put it in the prequels. He put it. The Wookiees fighting there, he goes, I'm gonna right or wrong here. So he put when the Wookiees started that fight with everybody, and I'm like, okay, he righted or wrong here.
Well, the thing, my favorite scene in the movie is when they save Han. That part with the fucking walking the plank at the Sarlacc is just fucking awesome to me.
Oh, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And
the minute Luke goes in there, and from the start, when Luke goes in there to the end, that whole sequence is just bloody.
Yeah, it's awesome. And to this day, I mean, it's funny because the first two movies, he's a whiny bitch boy the entire time, but from the start of this flick, he acts like he's got balls that come to dump truck. And
he wasn't that whiny of a bitch. He was trying to comprehend all the shit.
I understand
that was going on.
I'm just saying the alpha male.
He was trying to figure out to become a Jedi and the what going on. And then Vader's like, "I'm your father," and I'm like, and then that's when you saw him. That moment right there. Pinned him for Jedi coming in as a badass.
Well, the whole thing.
Personally, I thought the Rancor was more cuddly than the Ewok, but that was just me.
Right. Well, it's the reason why to this day I wear black. When I go out, everything I wear is black. Because the way he dressed in that show. I want his wardrobe from that fucking show. Even though it looks like
you wear one black glove too, is what you just wear?
No, I don't wear a black glove. No, I'm not Michael Jackson. No, I don't do that. No. But I mean, you can shuffle them any way you want, but the original trilogy usually ends up in the top 5 for most people. And Empire Strikes Back being at number 1, I've got no problem with because that's the one that actually gave it weight. It was kind of like Infinity War in the MCU where, they lost. They got their ass kicked.
Yeah. There's consequences here.
There's consequences to what's going on here, right? Han got fucking caught.
At the end of Empire, my jaw dropped. I was like, dude, they hardcore lost. How are they going to come back from this? And then Jedi comes in there and they fucking smoke them because of what happened in the second movie.
And we'll transition to talking about some of the other stuff that I've got here pretty quick. One of the things I was talking to John about earlier and Knock, like I said, these movies, there was 3 years between each one. And the way we got our news about this stuff was, let's see, have I got it here? It was Starlog magazine, which actually was started a year beforehand, before that movie came out. It actually had the crew of Star Trek on the cover of it in August of 76, but a year later it came out every 2 weeks every 2 months when it first came out. You see, this says number 7 in August, and that's after it had premiered, and they were talking about Star Wars. And this is where we got most of the news that we got about Star Wars was from this magazine, because we didn't have the internet or any of that shit.
Flash Gordon, Star Trek, anything you got from Starlog, Doctor Who.
Yeah, for sure, man. There's let me pull it up here real quick.
Yeah, I had a subscription to Starlog for many years. I wish I still had them, but a lot of them I got cut up for.
Dude, one of my favorite movies right there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They covered it all. They did. Yeah. And what I thought was funny is in Return of the Jedi, you remember what happened to Boba Fett, right? He gets clipped, his engine bounces him off that ship, and he falls into the Sarlacc. It's almost a joke how he goes out, because the guy's a really badass as far as we know, right? And I always thought, because you remember the rumor mill back then, that they were saying, oh, Darth's lying to him, he's not really his father, and Boba Fett actually is. I really think they quelled that rumor with that one scene right away at the beginning of the movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's the whole reason why they made him go out like that, just to let you know, hey, there's no possible way this guy's his dad. But that's how we got all our news on this stuff, man. And then came the extended universe stuff, and this is where you guys are going to take over.
Joe, before you know that, let me get to my rankings.
Sure.
So I had The Last Jedi 11, Rise of Skywalker 10, Solo 9, Force Awakens 8, Rogue One 7, Attack of the Clones 6. I almost put Rogue One ahead of Attack of the Clones, but
you should have.
I hate Disney so much.
Yeah.
I had the Phantom Menace.
Bias on
you get to penalize Disney, damn
it. Rogue One is the best Disney Star Wars.
It is.
I have to admit that too, even though I'm a person that fucking hates Disney. So.
Yeah, we knew that, buddy. We knew that.
Phantom Menace 5, Return of the Jedi 4, Revenge of the Sith 3, Empire Strikes Back 2, and then A New Hope 1. That for IGN to have Revenge of the Sith number 7, that's a joke.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it should be much higher than it is. But hey, IGN, they're not the best. We've been doing the video game one. It's obviously Nintendo slanted, because there's
they
stuff.
love Nintendo over there.
Yeah,
IGN.
For sure. Let's see.
I love Nintendo too, because if it wasn't for Nintendo,
Tim
we
Hayes
wouldn't have games today. So
right. Tim Hayes says in the Marvel comics, Boba Fett gets spit out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, he does. And I was waiting for years for them to say this, and then it's not till like 25, 30 years down the line. They're like, hey, let's do a Boba Fett show and actually do what sort of was in the book. But Disney goes, hey, there's no EU content or no other content. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Well, hey, Chad,
go ahead.
This is for you.
What?
Uh-oh. What we got? Where you at? I'm looking for it. I got my camera right in front of the stuff on the bottom of the screen.
Does he have said you're going to pull up?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was, you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear it.
Oh,
what?
Crap. It was
Come on, you can do it. Do it again.
Hang on, I got to check my audio settings.
make the sound with your voice, whatever.
Right?
Okay. I played this.
Clytus, I'm bored.
Oh,
yes!
That's the start of Flash.
Followed up by...
Nice. Yes. Absolutely.
Dude, that is like one of my top 5 movies right
Well, there's a connection between Flash Gordon and Episode 1.
Yes, there is.
The Boss Nass character from Episode 1, the heavyset Gungan that the leader of the Gungans, basically the guy that voiced him is in Flash Gordon.
There is
really?
Here's the going deeper. Yeah. There's a connection between Doctor Who, Flash Gordon, and Star Wars. So figure that one out.
Well, what I want to figure out is I want
Max
you guys.
Sydow?
Max von Sydow? What?
Mm-hmm.
What about him?
Well, a bunch of the people, from Doctor Who and Star Wars, actually they went back and forth, and a few of them showed up in the Flash Gordon movie.
Oh yeah.
So you connect Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Wars, and Flash
there's a
Gordon.
James Bond in the Flash Gordon movie. I can tell you
that. Brian Blessed was Boss Nash, and he's also I'm blanking on the name now.
Oh, it's okay, 70s.
What's he talking about? Hey guys, enjoying the show. Great chat. Can't join last, but listening. Good deal, man. Good deal.
Yeah,
good to see
thanks for seeing you, brother.
And I think Brian Blessed was in Doctor Who.
Yeah, he was.
He was. I'm not a Doctor Who guy at all,
Tarkin
so I wouldn't
was
even know.
if I remember, there was a bunch of actors that were in Doctor Who, and I remember this because I watch on Pluto TV, but I also have the VHS and stuff. So
Peter Cushing played Doctor Who.
Yeah, he did.
In the two movies. Yeah,
he did. So there's cool. The funny thing is there's a Doctor Who, Star Wars, and like connection right there. But then if you go into Flash Gordon, I was like, holy shit, there's a connection between all the movies, like in the shows and stuff. And I was like, so
yeah, I've got a lot of Peter Cushing movies.
Yeah.
Well,
I never got to meet him, and that bummed me out.
The next thing I want us to touch on when it comes to our Star Wars, beloved Star Wars, is I want you guys to fill me in a little bit on this extended universe that popped up. Now I know for sure that we had the first book. Now I read a couple of the first books in this.
Hey,
and I'll show you the ones I read.
Revan wasn't in there.
What's that?
Revan wasn't in there.
It's just I can't get all of it in there, Jed. I'm sorry.
Was that just okay? That looked like the Jedi Academy and the other stuff from Mara Jade and Heir to the Empire.
It's just an extended universe picture that I picked up.
It may have been drawn before Revan.
Oh yeah,
right. Now I will show you one of the things that I collected when I was a kid, and that's these books here, the McQuarrie books. These things were awesome, man. If you look at some of the pictures of this stuff, hang on a second, I had it up.
I have these downstairs somewhere, and I have them all covered up and stuff.
Yeah, this is the one I had, the concept art by Ralph McQuarrie, and here's some of the pictures from it.
And here's the cool thing is they've reprinted these books over the years multiple times.
But what's cool about it is look at the way Luke looks. Looks like he's got scuba gear on when he's fighting Darth Vader. Darth Vader looks pretty close to what he was. But you look at C-3PO. C-3PO looks kind of feminine.
Yeah, except for his face. His face is different. His mouth plate and a bunch of other stuff is different than what it looks like in the movies.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, without this artwork, they would have had nothing to start with.
Oh, no, and then
it's fantastic stuff.
God bless Ralph McQuarrie because he did an awesome job.
Yeah, he did. This one right here, it actually looks like the robot from Metropolis, that old classic.
Yeah, I said that the first time I saw that when I was younger. Because I got brought up on like all science fiction, old monster movies, and all this stuff. And the first time I said that, I said this to my granddad, because my grandmother and them, they every Saturday, out here in Arizona, we had like monster movies and all science fiction and all this, and I would sit down and watch them with my grandparents. And I said the first time when I saw this, I was like, "Hey, that looks like the lady from Metropolis," and my grandfather was like, "I love you," and gave me a big hug.
Now, the Millennium Falcon didn't change very much.
No,
it looks a lot like it.
By the way, I still can't believe Metropolis is almost 100 years old.
Yes.
Believe
Metropolis, and I will
in
say
2029, that will be a 100-year-old movie.
Yeah, I will say this, and it is in public domain now, except for one version of it. There's a version that is not in public domain. So, the original is, but not the newly restored version isn't.
I love this picture right here of the X-Wing. the classic X-wing we show at the beginning of the show all the time. It's got 4 circular engines, but this one it looks like it doesn't form a circle till the wings are put together. It looks like a split circle. It's pretty neat. I thought that was pretty neat.
Well, and Joe, that previous picture you just showed, at least the TIE fighter part and the X-wing part looks like that Starlog shot.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it was ripped right off the cover, doesn't it? Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, I wanted to mention real quick is, C-3PO, he may have looked, feminine in that initial artwork, but there's a trading card where he looks very masculine.
Yeah, there is.
He's got a goldenrod.
Okay.
That's a thing. Yeah.
But this one's pretty cool too. When he was doing Return of the Jedi, that's pretty neat. I think it's interesting that they actually show Yoda's legs here, because we never saw them. They're covered up by the cloak and everything.
Well, and originally Yoda was going to be even smaller and blue.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Like small enough to stand on your shoulder, stand on one shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the first book was Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Pretty sure that was the first book, and it was by. Here it is. Here.
I still have a first copy of that, and
I don't.
The Adventures of Luke Skywalker, and what was the other one? There was another one.
I know the first book of the Han Solo series was at Star's End, and that's the only 2 I read. I really, this came out. I want to say it was like a year after the first movie came out. I want to say that's how long it was before that came out. But that is the extent of my knowledge of the expanded universe. So
when I went to conventions, Alan Dean Foster was always there, and when I was younger, I would always go over and talk to Alan Dean Foster about the Star Wars. It was the books and the things, and I was like, have these really cool conversations with him. So
I tell you what, man, it's amazing all the stuff that's come out, and that's what we're going to talk about next. What was next in the expanded universe, Knock? What do you got for me there? What you got there?
So I went straight to my list of books, my favorite books, and number 1 in series. I put this in order from 1 to 5, but
okay.
So there's no, but that is a good one, Bane. Yes.
Actually, the first Star Wars books was Star Wars from the Adventures of Luke Skywalker in 1976.
Really? That's before the movie came out.
Yeah. Wow. This list isn't in any particular. I don't know what kind of. But there's so many jumping points, Joe, that there's no way to be like.
That's fine. Just fill us in on some of it.
You could go into published date. You could go into published date, I guess. Go from there. But there's so much stuff that it doesn't really matter.
And we're probably not even going to touch on comic books. I mean, Marvel's done them. Dark Horse has done them.
Empire, where Luke went bad, is awesome.
I never read any of the comic books. I never.
Oh my God, Dark
canon.
Empire's
I know they were canon, but I never considered them canon, so I never read any of them. I'm just not a comic guy.
Where Luke took over, he took over the Empire's role.
There was basically the Emperor came back as a clone.
And then Luke took over.
Wonder where they got that story from.
Gee whiz.
Dumb story. So I never bothered with it.
Yeah,
because it lasted all the 5 years, so it didn't mean shit. But so the first one of my, this is one of my, and I just reread this. Like I finished rereading it the other day. Actually, I'm still reading the 3rd book. Is the Bane trilogy. Now Bane, Darth Bane, this takes place 1,000 years before the movies.
Okay.
And Darth Bane at the time, it was the Republic with the Jedi, and then it was the Brotherhood of Evil, or whatever they called themselves, Brotherhood of Darkness.
Wow.
And basically, it was some bastardized version of the Sith, where they were all equal.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Darth; they were all lords. because they considered the Darth to be, because they were falling into, how they're always falling into that trap of killing each other and blah, blah, blah. But at the time, the rule of two didn't exist. The philosophy behind it never existed. So it was always just, there was a Sith Lord there was a Sith Lord there were Sith Lords all over the place. And they would always just kill each other. And, any kind of advantage they ever got over the Republic would always get ruined by the fact that they would just kill each other and be done with it. So Lord Khan, or however you say his name, came up with the Brotherhood, and it essentially just became the bad version of the Jedi, essentially. And Darth Bane, who came up he was on a world where he was basically just used as a hard labor. He was a miner. And they basically mined an ore that both the Republic and the Sith used for armor.
Okay.
And eventually he made his way into the Sith Army. He got discovered. He went to Korriban, which is where the Sith Academy is. And he quickly realized in his study that this was not the right way. And he ended up finding a holocron of someone's namesake over there and learned from the holocron of Darth Revan. And that's where he came up with the idea, because Revan, was like, you can't have too many followers. But Revan didn't think of he said you had to have one ruler, which didn't make much sense to Bane, because he was like, well, if you have one ruler and something happens to him, that's it, you're done. all the knowledge of the Sith can't be put into one person. You need to have one person to have the knowledge, but to give it to someone else that will continue the line, which created the rule of two. And that rule of two basically was the start of the culminate. And basically in the books, he starts networking. He ends up destroying the entire Brotherhood with a thought bomb, which is a really cool thing. He gets to the entire Brotherhood by himself. He finds an apprentice, and he comes up with a rule of two, and he essentially makes the Jedi think that the Sith are gone.
Yep,
all by himself.
Wow.
And then he goes into hiding, and then basically sets off a chain of events that leads all the way. The rule of two leads all the way to Palpatine and Darth Plagueis, where it comes to a final thing where all that over 1,000 years, their plan finally appears, and that's Order 66.
They played the long.
That started. Yeah, it was the long game, and it started with Darth Bane.
Yeah, it was the longest game they played.
Now, the trailer that you gave me to show when we get to the video game talk, it looks like it comes from that time.
No, it's 3,000
before that. Wow.
Yeah,
3,000 years before the movies. It's 2,000.
Yeah, see, this is why Disney's such a bunch of fuck ups. They have all this wealth of stuff that they can be tapping into.
History.
Yeah, my God. All right.
And this is why you hear me complain a lot, Joe. I'm like, there's so much history.
Right. What do you got there, John? What do you got?
I've got a list of the Star Wars books in chronological order.
Okay, cool. Let's finish Knox, and then we'll throw yours up and see how many of what he's talking about is on that list.
A couple of stories. Now, this is probably the biggest one right here.
Yep.
That this is, if they wanted to make, and you'll notice that the title of the first one is Heir to the Empire. Guess what the upcoming Ahsoka show is is what they mentioned it in the trailer.
They mentioned it in the trailer.
Empire.
They do.
Now this is Thrawn. This is where we first meet Thrawn. Ever.
Before you get rolling, let me acknowledge Anna's comment here. She says Darth Bane is such an interesting character.
Absolutely.
He was totally awesome.
Yep. But go ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
But no, this is essentially like the first main storyline after the sixth movie.
Okay.
Where you have, everyone, the Republic is recovering. There's some stories in between, but then basically Grand Admiral Thrawn comes back from the outer regions and takes over the Empire, essentially.
Yeah. This is the real episode 7, 8, and 9 right here.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. This is what every major Star Wars fan wanted for 7.
Yeah, I wanted this, dude. It was 20 years, 18, 20 years after Jedi. And so I was like, oh my God. And then you read more and more and more. I got so hooked. I was like, oh my God, they need to make this into a movie. And
this was only a couple of years after Jedi. It wasn't.
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought they said in the book it was like 18 to 20 years.
Well, it probably spans that long after that.
6 years.
Yeah, I think it spans a while, but it definitely it started. But basically, if you look at the guy behind in the first book, Heir to the Empire, that's the Saboth, Joris Saboth. and he was a Jedi in the basically before Clone Wars, when the Jedi was still high, and basically there was a mission that Anakin and Obi-Wan were going to get set on that Palpatine said, no, don't let it. It was called the Outbound Flight. Now, the Outbound Flight was basically just a shuttle that had a bunch of masters on it, including Jarrus Sabath, who was going to be the leader of it. And they were going to go off into unknown space and just discover stuff and spread the Force word. They were what do you call the guys that go door to door?
They were basically Mormons.
Evangelists.
Yeah, they were going to go out and they were going to spread the good word and whatever, and find other Force user, basically. And Palpatine,
Jehovah's Witnesses is what you were looking
that's what
for,
I was looking for. Yeah, and basically
Jehovah's Witnesses,
right?
Mormons,
And Palpatine was basically like, no, I don't want him on that ship. I don't want it because he wanted Anakin. Remember, he wanted Anakin. And he's like, I can't. And this shuttle was going to go away for probably ever. Those people were probably never going to return. Well, it's like at least be a long time. So, and Palpatine ended up actually meeting Thrawn. Now, this is another book called Outbound Flight that all these events happen. But in this book, but this is a clone of Jorah Sabath right there that was created. And Thrawn, having come back, finds him because he's looking for a secret storehouse of Palpatine's with a bunch of cool little toys in it, and including clone tanks as well. And he actually, and the one protecting it is Jorah Sabath. He's protecting the storehouse, and he gets Jorah by promising him Luke, Leia, and her twins to train them. Because he's a deranged Jedi or former Jedi, and so Sabath gets him to work with them. And so that's basically the story: is them trying to stay ahead of Thrawn, who's this master strategist who can.
He's the Darth Vader of this series.
I mean,
right? Or is he the Emperor of this series?
Honestly, I would. If there was anyone to compare him closer to, he'd be more like Tarkin. But he's his own thing. Yeah. He's his own thing, though. Like the only alien to ever get the rank of Grand Admiral. He hated by everybody because he was smarter than everybody, but had zero political game. He knew nothing about politics. That was always his weak point. Was that politics? He was completely oblivious of it. He could read you down to a T, but if you were trying to trick him in politics, that's what got him sent to the Outer Rim in the first place. So. And then you meet Mara Jade in this one.
Mara Jade is awesome.
So that was a huge thing, and Luke ends up getting a crush on her, and it's just a really good trilogy. And like I said, this is what the original.
And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. That comment they made in what I consider the worst one, Rise of Skywalker, about cloning being secrets only the Sith knew. That's not accurate, is it? I mean,
no, because the especially in these ones, there's leftover takes from Camino, basically.
Yeah, there is. There was.
That's all it was.
They fought a whole war with clones. Was my point. I mean, it's just.
And if
silly.
you go through Rebels and all that stuff, like they still have some Caminos left over. Like at some point.
They do.
Yeah. So I mean, and there might still be some in existence. We just don't know. They're just hidden. And so.
So Heir to the Empire is your second thing we need to delve into. I hope you guys are compiling a reading list because this is better than what Disney's doing. Okay, better than what Disney's doing. Go ahead, sir.
Now this is one of my favorite. Now you want to talk about characters that are non-Jedi? Then you got to read the X-Wing series. This is a combination of 9, but I've reread this a bunch of times. This is Wedge Antilles' group, his Rogue Squadron. Yep, and they go back and forth between Rogue Squadron for the first couple books and the last couple books. They go back between Wedge and one of my favorite characters of all time, Corran Horn. And Corran Horn.
What?
I hate it when you say that too. I don't like it.
I'm sorry,
because he's one of my favorite characters, and it makes me really mad. But no. But this is a great story and this takes place right after the movies as well.
Yeah.
And it's just Wedge taking over. This is before the Republic takes over Coruscant, and then the first couple books is them taking over Coruscant. Basically, them infiltrating Coruscant and taking it over, and then finding out that it's actually was given to them by Izard, who is the director of intelligence, who takes over the Empire essentially, who's the intelligence director, and she gives them the planet, but gives it to them. before she gives it to them, essentially, she poisons the planet.
Yeah.
And it basically leaves the Republic, it's the rebels trying to form a government, and they're still essentially weak. They're not nothing special,
Right.
but they're trying to not use all their resources on a dying planet, essentially. All the aliens got poisoned.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
so
good.
what I'm hearing here is the destruction of the Death Star was not the end of it. They had to mop up the rest of the Imperials, and this is the story of that.
Yeah,
right?
there was some. There was, in the first 6 months, I think it was. There was some called Sage Prestige, or however you say his name. He just kind of happened to take over, and then Izard, Hussein Izard. I don't even know if I'm saying her name. A lot of these names I've only read. I've never actually heard them out loud. But she took over as the de facto leader of the Empire and tried to keep it together, basically. And then Wedge Antilles is a commander he just gets sent on missions with his group. He basically reassembled Rogue Squadron from a lot of different places to create a group that was mainly fighter pilots, but also had a secondary skill of infiltrators.
Right.
That was his idea when he recreated
basically the special forces of the Republic. The new
and
Republic,
I don't know if
right?
anybody ever informed Kathleen Kennedy about Hussein Izard or Mon Mothma or.
Yeah, she's crazy. Let me see if I can find you a picture of her, because she's a very striking person.
Yeah.
Who's that?
I just remember in the books that she had one eye was one color and one eye was a different color. I think one eye was red, maybe.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's take a look at the chat real quick. Anna jumped on what I was talking about. Beautiful art and Wolverine. Good to see you, by the way, Wolverine. He says Beavis is Force sensitive and Butthead is Sith.
I would say truth on that one.
I know, right? All the art books are bloody wonderful. Nothing that Disney could ever do right. Well, I mean, we can hope.
The X-Wing book covers are really good.
Yeah, here you go, Joe.
Okay, you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing with Hussein Izard is that she was rumored to be a lover of Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
She was in love with him. She was in love with his power. She was very cold. If you can see her eyes, she's got the one red eye and one blue eye. And
wow. Okay.
Very fierce.
Yeah. There was one at one part, and I was like, okay, that's a bullshit rumor that she was supposed to be a lover of Thrawn too. And I was like, nope. That's bullshit.
She definitely.
I was like, that's bullshit right there. Don't get me going.
But that sounds like a great story. She looks like Rogue in a red Imperial officer's outfit. That's what she looks like.
she rocked her. And then another one of these books is the Back to War. So she basically after she's run off of Coruscant, she takes over a planet that controls the Back to Trade, and she becomes the leader of that.
The Back to Trade. Wow.
Yeah. So
I am a nerd in some form. I know what that shit is. Back to food and all that stuff that heals people.
So she becomes the controller of it, and so Wedge goes. They actually resign from the Republic because the Republic's like, we can't go after her because she was put into office by voting in or whatever. She got voted in there, so it's an internal planet issue. We can't touch that because that would just scare off a bunch of planets. So Wedge is like, fine, I quit. We're going. Yeah. So he takes off on his own and does that. And then there's some other stories where he creates another race squadron where it's infiltrators first, pilots second. So he went the other way on that one. Yeah. So that's what Race Squadron is about, and then he becomes a general, and then the last one's just kind of a standalone book where he goes to a planet.
Yes, and it's a very good book.
It's one of my favorite. It's definitely one of my favorites. He's a full-on general, but and this is where he finds his love of his life that he had attempted to romance earlier, but that's a whole different story. Right. So
sounds like good stuff, man.
And whenever they switch over to Race Squadron, they switch authors, and it's as seamless as it can be. Yeah.
Michael Stackpole was the one for the first 4, and then it was Aaron.
Wait! You mean to tell me there was a plan?
Yes, there was a plan.
Absolutely.
Different authors followed up on, and
yeah,
that's amazing.
What I'm saying is like one author actually read what the other author did.
And the funny thing is, and Joe, this was the great thing about it, was so much so was that when you get to the 7th book in the series, that's after Thrawn gets taken down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After the Heir of the Empire folks finish up, they circle back and they.
So this is a companion to this.
Absolutely, they collaborated on these stories so well.
They all help.
These are all connected in some way. All these.
Yo, Disney, take notes, you bunch of
Disney don't know shit.
Oh man. That's cool. It's too bad we'll never see this stuff, man.
Okay,
really.
This is a really good book too.
So this one, I Jedi, is a personal favorite of mine. Now, one of the characters
too.
I mentioned in the X-wing series is Corran Horn. Don't say it.
I'm not going to.
Corran Horn. Corran Horn, it turns out, has a history. He has a history of the Force. His grandfather was a Jedi. His father was a Jedi or an apprentice, and his grandfather was a Jedi. And in order to hide him, his grandfather was the friends of a security force guy or a police officer, basically.
Gotcha.
And a Corellian security force.
Gotcha.
And in order to, and in the clone, and in the old war, in some war or some battle, the grandfather dies, and the friend marries his wife, and because Corellians were a little different. They got married. They were a little different from other Jedi, and his grandmother married his the step grandfather, took his Corran's dad into his family, and basically they made him cops. Basically, they took So and Corran was brought up never knowing that what his heritage was.
Okay.
At first. So basically, he discovered at the end of near the end of the X-wing series, he discovers that he finds a museum on Coruscant that shows he ends up finding his grandfather's lightsaber, and when he gets rescued, Luke comes up to him and gives him the lightsaber back. He's like, "Oh, that's not my lightsaber. I got that from the museum." He's like, "No, this is yours. It's your grandfather's." So he discovers he has. He can use the Force, and Luke actually offers him a chance at his new academy. And initially, Corran refuses because Izard has prisoners that Corran wants to save.
Okay.
Corran Horn got captured at one point and escaped from Izard's prison. Like I said, that's a whole other story. But essentially, he said, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to stay with this X-wing because they're going after Izard." Izard. And so in this particular book, this is after the events of all that. Izard's long gone. They take care of her, and basically his wife gets kidnapped. And he basically, it's a journey of him going after her. At first, he thinks he can do it through.
This is Corran Horn you're talking about?
Corran Horn, yeah.
Okay.
So in order to find his wife, he ends up at one point going to Luke's Jedi Academy and trained to become a Jedi because he thinks that's going to help.
Yeah.
He also goes to the planet where he thinks that she's been kidnapped or gets more information on. He takes on gangs and all kinds of things, and then he actually finds the Jedi, I believe is how you say it, which is and it's a group of Force users that were basically half trained, where they were trained by someone of the dark side, but they were never actually evil.
Okay.
They actually had some philosophy, like they basically they got the Force training, but they never got the philosophy training. So they were not actually bad, but they were helping.
They knew how to physically use it. They just didn't know it's kind of like knowing martial arts without Tai Chi.
Yeah. And they basically thought they were protecting their planet, in their own way. Kind of deal. So this is just another book that I really liked, and I really like the character. So that's why I like this particular.
Okay.
Well, and then of course I had to throw
before you move on to that.
Yeah.
There's a channel that I watch. I've mentioned it to Joe before. It's a guy called Matt Wilkins, and he talks a lot of Star Wars. I haven't read I Jedi, but he said he didn't like it because it was in first person. I don't know.
It is Corran Horn's personal. Yeah, there's not a lot of books there's not a lot of books that in Star Wars where they just refer to themselves for the most part. It's usually third person.
That book was very
but
unique.
I didn't mind it at all. I liked Corran Horn, so I didn't.
It was a good book. I read it like really fast. So
he also pointed out something about the cover of I Jedi that's interesting, that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's the fact that, on one of the X-Wings, and I don't know if it's like a gun on the wing or whatever, but one of the guns is missing from one of the wings.
Yeah, see that.
Yeah,
That's true. I think it's the angle. No, it really is.
No, it isn't. That thing's gone.
Listen, this was just concept art. It's on the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's on the other one, but apparently this one's crippled. I don't know what the deal is.
It got shot off.
Maybe it got shot off or something. You don't know.
All right, what's that last one you got for us, man?
So the last one is pretty simple. There is so many books to go, but it's going back to Thrawn. And these are the canon Thrawn. The previous books are extended universe Thrawn. This is Thrawn since Disney took over and they brought Thrawn back. The ones on the bottom is after he joins the Empire, and basically when he joined the first time he meets Palpatine himself, and then into that, and then he actually, without being told, he actually finds out about the Death Star. And basically saves it because there was a lot of supply issues with it. But he discovers it and helps out. There's actually in the second book, it's him and Vader going on a mission back to a planet that Anakin Skywalker first met Thrawn back during the Clone Wars. So it's a flashback story going along with their mission to that same planet. So that one's a pretty good one. And then this one I'm actually reading now. I'm on the third book for this one, but this is actually a prequel story of Thrawn when he's still with the Ascendancy, which is the Chiss storyline. So this is before he joins the Empire.
Yep. And
this
Thrawn
guy's
Thrawn was actually in a band called Chiss, and they wore face paint. And,
I think he was in that Blue Man group too.
Insane Thrawn Posse? Is that what it was?
yeah.
But well, thanks for that, man. This all looks really cool, and I've heard a lot about Heir to the Empire for sure. I've heard a lot about that one.
If there was ever anything to read as far as extended universe, Heir of the Empire would definitely be worth reading.
And Joe, there's also a Thrawn duology that came after.
There is. I did forget about that, but it was essentially about 20 years after Thrawn was killed, and there was an Imperial Moff and an old Royal Guardsman, one of Palpatine's old Red Guards, that concocted a plan to get an actor to play Thrawn. Because they found the plan, the 5-year plan or whatever that Thrawn had, that essentially listed out all the things he was going to do to take out the Republic. Wow! And they basically made a play in those two books to, they even had it where Lando was in the Millennium Falcon, and the actor that played Thrawn walked onto the freaking Millennium Falcon, and so because they were trying to, say that Thrawn was back somehow,
right?
And this actor was such a good actor, but because they did like the full, they changed his face and everything. Sure, he did the manner, but he was just some 2-bit thief. But he was a great actor. But he was a great actor.
He's basically Ant-Man in the MCU. Yeah, got it.
At least 11 Thrawn books by Timothy Zahn. In other words, the checks keep clearing. So
these are all the Thrawn books. That is Timothy.
From what I understand, this is the most popular dark side, or I'd say Imperial, whatever you want to call it, bad guy character since the movies, or actually during the movie makings and everything. The extended universe, all I hear about is this blue admiral named Thrawn. That's all I hear about from guys that read this stuff.
Yeah, and, he can look at the art of a society and immediately find weaknesses in their defense.
Right? Yeah, I've heard you guys gush about this guy forever. And that 70s rock fan, let me acknowledge this because I love it. Thrawn to be wild, yeah, man, that's cool, dude. He's got to put his 70s rock fan part to it. But I look forward to actually seeing this guy on screen. I'm sure if I watch the animated stuff, he's in there a lot, right?
He is. He's in the
Rebels.
Rebels.
Okay. Yep. All right. So I'll definitely have to check that out. Okay. John is going to fill us in on how these books fall chronologically real quick. So see if you can blow that up just a little bit, brother. The folks at home might.
Now you'll notice at the top, Joe, they went by era.
Yeah.
The old Republic era is the basically just the 3,000 years before and beyond.
Gotcha.
Before.
Gotcha. Okay. So,
this
25,000 years before. Yeah.
Yes, it's the dawn of the Jedi. It's when they were actually See, she doesn't even have a lightsaber. It's just a sword.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering. I wonder if they're going to use any of this when they make. Who is it? Is
James
it Filoni
Mangold?
It's James Mangold that's making that one.
Oh, that asshole! Yeah.
The Dawn of the Jedi.
You mean the asshole that helped destroy Indy?
It'll be called. They'll call it the Dial of the Jedi.
The Dial of the Jedi. Okay.
Yep.
But anyway, what's next? Revan. Okay.
Revan.
So that book comes after the video games.
Yeah.
Okay.
They jump. This is the oldest book in age, not chronologically, but not in publishing order, but the oldest story chronologically.
Chronologically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got it. Yeah. I thought that was the whole point of this. This is the chronological order.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And
So
we
Revan,
got the Old Republic, which takes place
Now,
after
if you want to stop right there, John.
stop right there.
The Old
Because we got a
Republic
visual for this. Yes.
There you go, Joe.
We do
You
have
got
a
it.
visual for this. It's something that I hate the fact that I'm never going to get to play this game because they don't have it on console, man. It's just
What
drives me
game?
up the wall.
Republic?
But he gave us a video here. Let me make sure I've got the sound
They're
going.
probably gonna get rid of it anyway because they sent it off to somebody else now.
I really hope that they don't. I'd love to see them put it on console.
Within a year, 6 months or more.
Because after seeing this, I really want to play it. I may have to
think they're
friggin'
gonna get
figure
rid
out
of
how to
it,
play a
you know.
friggin' computer game.
I don't
Here
think
you
there's
go,
going to
guys.
be any more content.
This is the
coming out.
opening. This is the opening of Star Wars: The Old Republic video game on computer.
And this might be the best trailer of anything Star Wars video game was.
This is actually the opening sequence. BioWare.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
back when BioWare was BioWare.
Yeah.
I know the music's awesome.
How can you, that's just such
Yes.
I know.
It's got everything, man.
I'm
It's
just
got
like-
everything.
When I saw this, I went berserk.
Our time has come. For 300 years, we prepared.
That's Coruscant.
Stronger.
sure is.
Jedi Temple, I take it?
Rested.
Yep.
Your crave of power.
See? I know a little bit.
Your people were
The movies will
This
teach you
is what-
something.
protected.
This is what got me to play the game.
I'd say the same thing. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to play for the story, but yeah.
Oh, I was going to play too, but this really.
I want to
got
know
me
who the
want-
redhead is. The soulless redhead. I want to know who she is.
Well, it's got
I
a blue
don't know if she's a-
Twi'lek, so Jed.
I don't know if she's an actual character. I think it was just they wanted to show off the bounty.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
redheads like gravitate towards me
But
anyways.
you were deceived.
Like,
As our powers of the dark side have blinded you.
Dude. Get out of the way when it's coming at you. That's
Yeah, it's
straight out of
crazy.
Thor- That's
And
straight
it-
out of Thor: The Dark World, right there. What the
yeah,
fuck?
and they never moved. That was the cool part.
Right?
They,
What
they
the
never
hell?
moved from
He's
their spot.
You assumed no force could challenge you.
I thought this was Darth without the helmet.
and you hear what they
Whoa, that's a whole lot of red
Yeah,
glow stick
I was
there,
like-
baby.
Oh, let's go!
Wow. Anna's Gameland says she loves BioWare. Wow. Look like Boba Fett for a second. See, he looks a lot like Darth without the helmet.
Oh,
You know
fuck
what I mean?
off, Duke.
I'm just saying. He does. He looks a lot like
He said those sabers look kind of orange.
Let's, okay, I got
Such
it.
a
I got it.
fucking
Yeah. Okay. This guy's in it to win it. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, don't ever leave your feet, son. Ugh. I love that sound, man. And the music is awesome.
Yeah.
This has got everything. Now, how are the graphics of the game? Are they anywhere near DCUO?
Oh
yeah, they're
they're DCO.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty
Well,
good.
this came out at the same year, I think, as DCO.
It was a couple years later. It was like a year or two later. It was definitely after, because I was playing DC first, and then I
I know, because I was playing DC on my
Holy shit, here they come. Wow.
Yeah, this is prime, one of the prime years that we had.
Listen to that music, man. It doesn't get any better than that.
So essentially, there was a Sith Empire, and a Sith Emperor, who would essentially suck the life out of an entire planet and stay alive forever. Pretty much.
Wow.
Did you see what you just said?
Revan actually ended up finding this emperor and got turned to the dark side, essentially. And so the Empire eventually, after Revan was actually sent back to destroy the Republic and failed. And so the Empire ended up invading the Republic, and that's what it led to. Now, that book, what ends up happening is they had a negotiation going on for peace, whereas the Sith Empire was like, that was a trick. And so they ended up attacking Coruscant, which was the heart of the Republic. But in that fight, after that scene, they actually ended up not destroying Coruscant and going going forward with the peace negotiation just from a more position of strength. And that pissed off Darth Malgus right there. And even he had a vendetta based on it. He was super pissed. He's like, I want to see this planet burn. And they stopped.
Yeah.
And he wanted to know why.
Yeah.
Let's see. Duke says, sorry, maybe my vision is blurring. I'm watching the latest Secret Invasion, and I think my brain is dripping out of my ear. Yeah,
I haven't watched past the first episode.
Yeah, I have his statue. He must be talking about Revan.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Darth Revan or Malgus, either one. They're both cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm over here editing, and hear Joe having an orgasm. Yeah, hell yeah, man. That was badass, dude. That's the kind of shit I want to see. I want to see some lightsabers.
We'll never see that again.
Yeah.
We'll never see that again.
We can hope, man. We can hope.
Never. Not with Disney having it.
Let me tell you something, Jed. I am glass half full. I will always lean towards hoping for good stuff. I'm disappointed, but I won't be crushed. Because I know who's handling it. It's somebody that doesn't know what they're doing.
You're more likely to see it in a video game, though, than anything else.
Right. And yeah. Well, I've shown you guys the one that I'm looking forward to. When it comes to video games, guys, I'm looking forward to Eclipse. That's the one I'm looking for. And it's probably still a good 2 years off. Because it takes those guys at Quantic Dream a long time to make a video.
Well, and it's gonna be an ambitious undertaking.
Very ambitious undertaking. Because if you've seen any of their stuff, it's basically like playing a cinematic the whole way through. I mean, it's amazing the stuff they do. Let's see. Wolverine says, look, Disney just put ABC up for sale. What's next? Oh, they're going to be selling components off left and right because they need money. How awesome would the scene have looked if all the characters were raised?
Oh, fuck off, dude. Don't, because you're ODing on Secret Invasion. Don't bring bad shit into the world. Okay? Fuck
all right, John.
I would say only if Rey was fighting Tom Holland. That's all. As long as it was, So,
figured out a way to get Tom Holland in there.
I mean, they've been in a movie together. I'm just saying.
All right, John. See if
Rise
you can
of the Sith era.
Do some more of this before we get out of here.
Tom Holland could be a stunt double for her.
We got the Rise of the Sith.
Okay.
Which gets into
Maul and
well, this list is incomplete, but okay.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
this is very incomplete.
They're missing.
They just missed the best for my number one on my list. Why is it not there?
Yeah,
how is it not there? They missed Darth Bane. Now, sorry, John. Don't care for this list.
That's an incomplete list, dude.
that ruined it.
They're
that ruined
missing
it for me.
I'm sorry. Excuse
If that Rise of the Sith started with Darth Bane, I would have been all for it. But no, they just ruined it.
Yeah.
Well, and they may just have a condensed.
And it's an adult novel, so
Yeah.
you can't say it does not contain all the adult novels.
Well, there's like 150.
We'll have to double check
novels.
their list. Yeah,
yeah,
no
their list is incorrect. That's all I know.
But
I would say it's condensed. No, yeah.
right, it's condensed.
Not very well.
I love this, Duke. It was my understanding that there was no source material. Stop making stuff up.
Shut up, you. There's plenty of source material.
Everything I've said is from source material.
Before we get out of here, let's touch on the video games because we all play video games. I think you had a list of top 5 video games there, Big Daddy. Okay. And number 1, Knights of the Old Republic, which is what I'm playing right now. You're going to see me play that later on tonight with a buzz.
You'll see me and Joe yelling at each other again. You know,
I'm getting better as it goes along.
Yes, you are, and I'm getting proud of
in
you.
each 2-hour period, I'm getting more and more done. So, I'm not stumbling over things.
Because your son's there too, and he's helping you.
And this game is interesting. If you're looking for, slash 'em up, pure action, nonstop action, this isn't it. You got to go to Jedi Academy.
The only reason why I'm playing this is because you wanted me to, buddy. And, we have been friends a long time, and you want me to see the lore.
There's a reason why this is somebody's namesake. Because the story is so good. And that character is so good.
Yeah,
and you become that character, so that's what's so cool about it. And then the second one was kind of an unfinished product, but the gameplay was a lot of fun.
Cry a bit. It was unfinished.
And there was always hope that there would be a third one too. And instead of a third one, we got the MMO.
Yeah,
the MMO essentially became, and there was a lot of stuff that actually it was kind of fun playing the game because there was a lot of storylines that actually ended in.
But they did Revan dirty in that game.
Yeah, Revan did come back a little bit in the MMO.
Played dirty, man.
Yeah, I didn't play the game that far into it, but I did read about it.
I was playing with my friends, and we got the new DLC. We got to the part, and they all heard me on mic saying, "What the fuck is this bullshit?" in my loudest voice I could ever say. And I was like, those motherfuckers did him dirty.
Duke says, I love that we keep playing the same 20-year-old game.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, man, if it's good, you'll keep playing it.
Do we keep watching the same 20-year-old movies?
Right, that's right. Well, Anna says, to play this, I need to have it on my iPhone and screen share it to my TV because my PC doesn't want to support it. That one's on Xbox right there. If you're talking about Old Republic, I don't know.
It is on PC as well. But
is
it's
it on
PC, Xbox,
it's ported everywhere now.
It's everywhere.
It's on Switch. I think it's on Switch now too.
It's on Switch.
Next.
Yes.
Battlefront 2.
Okay. This one was just so much. This is the first time where you just go in as a soldier and you could just die and come back. And as long as you had the numbers at the top to support it, you would just keep coming back. And if you get enough kills or randomly every once in a while, you got to be a Jedi.
Yeah,
and you got to be one of the special characters. And by far the best one to play is Darth Maul with his double lightsaber.
Yeah,
and you're just like running along the battlefield, just slicing and dicing through.
Yeah, and I had a favorite knock where I would get the sniper and I would post up in a high place and just pick people off. And
it was really cool. You had the different, for the clones. You had the different. You had the jetpacks. You had the officers.
Yeah.
You had the pilots. You had space battles, and they had conquest mode. You could do the story mode in which they followed the 501st, which was Darth Vader's special group.
Yeah,
of clones. And
that's the name of this. That's the name of the cosplay troop too, isn't it?
That's where they get it from. Yeah. It's the 501st. Yeah. So that's just so it's their story essentially. And they're like, man, if we hadn't been off the Death Star, we would have stopped them basically. Like,
wow.
There's that.
That's
they're
cool.
that things would have been different had we been there. So it's just a really fun third person shoot. You can do third person. I think you can do first person in this too, can't you? Something like that. But you could pick. So this one was fun. This is me on 64.
Yeah.
Was pod racing.
Pod racing. Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, I haven't played the new enhanced version.
Okay, it's not that bad because I played it the other night. It's pretty good. I got through the first race pretty easily, so I think they did make it a tiny bit easier. But then I got into the second race.
What console?
You can play this someplace.
Microsoft gave this away for free last month.
Oh,
but
really?
Game Pass has took over Xbox Live now, so you're not going to get any more free games anymore. So
nope.
Well, there was an arcade episode 1. Pod racing
the arcade one was awesome. It was this huge pod race, and I played it all the time. So
I still haven't finished this one yet. I've got
it. Yeah.
So this one I had to put on my list because it's just a great story.
Oh, it's
I'm still playing through Survivor. I can't have Survivor on those lists because I'm not done with it yet. So Survivor is the sequel.
Yet, so.
So I'm currently playing through that one, so I'll wrap that one up. So it's just a great story, and it's canon. Kyle Kates, for all we know, could show up in Ahsoka. We don't even know.
And
like his character
that would be kind of cool.
So he's alive as far as it does take place a little bit before, obviously, Ahsoka and all that.
Yes,
like
it is
20, 30 years or something like that. But Kota, I don't think is on Xbox.
And his Gameland, I'll tell you, I don't know if it's on Xbox.
It's very cheap. It's only like $10.
It only cost me $10 to buy. It was only $10.
And it's absolutely worth it.
When it's on sale, it's like $2 or $3 too.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, hey, Biggles, what's up, brother?
Don't you cannon quote me. Don't you cannon quote me.
Canon.
It is canon. And then
quote
this one I remember playing a while back when it first came out. It was just a fun game. It was just a really fun Clone Wars game.
Yeah.
It was very unique because it was the first time you got to play with the Republic Commandos.
Mm-hmm.
So it was freaking awesome.
And it was probably better it was better than most people thought it would be.
Yes.
From my standpoint.
It was. Mm-hmm. I have that through my three. I have all these still on disc.
Instead of
Republic Commando, you can actually get on PlayStation too. It might even be on Game Pass for all I know. But it's,
like with Ryan Johnson,
easily accessible game.
He subverted expectations. This actually exceeded expectations.
Exceeded expectations. We can do that. It's still legal to do that, isn't it? I'm hoping it is.
Well, I agree with what Wolverine said. Bad Batch is a ripoff of Republic Commandos. Yeah.
You know what? We didn't go through my TV list, but it's on my TV list.
Yeah.
Well, look, this is a conversation that's way too big for 2 hours. But you know we got to wrap it sometime. But I would say. I got one more question. I got one more question before we get out of here on the video game front, though. What would you say is the best gameplay for the flying of like Millennium Falcon, X-Wings, TIE Fighters, stuff like that?
That'd be on 64. That'd be on the 64.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking because I like flying stuff a lot.
Well, there's also another one. But it's.
I know Rogue Squadron came out pretty recently.
Yeah, Rogue Squadron.
I didn't really get into it. I actually don't care much for the flying.
I have all these games, but the most recent one is that one where they were going to do a 3, but they didn't. But I would say 64 one, but there's no updated one of that. So Battlegrounds 2, the reboot.
Battlefield.
What you want is you want to go to Good Old Games and buy the original X-Wing and TIE Fighter games.
Yes.
For PC.
Yeah, I'd probably say that, yeah.
Yeah.
And they won't text that you can run them on a laptop. They don't, they're old enough that they won't tax hardware.
Tax your system a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Anna's Gameland said I bought it on Steam for $10, and I can't play it on the PC because the screen is like 1/5 of what it should be.
There's a way to manipulate that, but I've forgotten how.
The best place to play it is on an Xbox, basically.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And Wolverine's agreeing about the flying game on the 64.
Rogue Squadron 64 was freaking awesome.
I would have to relearn them, and he says, or replay them to know. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate the discussion. I always like talking Star Wars with guys that are geeks and know more than I do about it. I mean, I'm a geek about the movies. I can quote them all, but
I have a real quick
well,
shout
except
out.
for the Disney trilogy. I haven't seen those movies enough to even know what the words are in it. But
I didn't even watch the third movie.
I can quote them all, huh?
Yeah, I have a real quick honorable mention for the video games.
Okay.
And that's the original Star Wars arcade game.
Yes.
Yeah.
The old wireframe.
Right.
Oh,
I
where it's
remember
like
that.
green and black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I did play the old Star Wars game on PC where you can actually use a joystick to fly around.
Dude,
Hoth
they're
actually go around the AT-ATs and tie them with the cable and then let them go. It was so hard to do with the joystick.
But Arcade 1-Up makes a stand-up and sit-down version of that game.
Oh, wow.
I used to play the old arcade one where you sit in it and it's all covered and it had the X-Fighter details and everything. I love that game.
Pretty cool. Biggles, Anna, if you're still listening, says to fix the screen, you just YouTube it. Most of the time, it is going to into the files and changing the resolution. Okay, well, there you go.
Wolverine says he has the arcade one sit-down version.
Yeah,
the arcade
there you go.
Yep. Yeah, I hear it in the background when we stream all the time.
Yep.
He has it on.
Okay, boys and girls, let's let everybody know what's going on with you guys, starting with my man Knock, who went crazy with the show today. Let them know what's going on with you, man. And we're going to do more of this, guys. We're Star Wars fans, so we'll be doing more of this. So
I might have to do my own YouTube show with just Star Wars and just
right. Yeah,
there's all the stuff that I explained. Like I barely did.
You're scratching the surface. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it was just bare bone explanations of everything. So I could go on Star Wars forever.
Well, I've been telling you should do your own channel, you goof, but that's up to you.
Yeah. But because just Star Wars is just one of those things I just know. I've just read most of the books. There's about 350 books from Extended Universe out there, if not a little bit more. And I've read most of them. So it's just something that I haven't read much of the new canon stuff because I didn't give a crap about the movies. So, but I think the next thing I know we're going to be planning. I think tonight. Right?
Tonight after we're done. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
we're going to be planning the Hall of Fame stuff. We're going to get back. This crew does the pregame party during the NFL, so we will definitely be planning that, and we're going to do a show before the game. So it's either going to be the Sunday before. We're going to keep it to the Sunday 10 a.m. to noon time slot, but we've got to look at the calendar tonight and see exactly which Sunday. We'll be able to tell you next week exactly when we're going to do it, guys. But football season is coming, and Das Wolfen, Knock, and myself and Matt, the best backup in the league, is going to be there to bring it to you every Sunday.
And the Cowboys are going to suck again like they do every year.
Well, hey, man, what you going to do? What you going to do? But, Knock, thank you for that wealth of knowledge, brother. You're always great at that. Jed, let them know what's going on with you, man. What are you doing this week?
Tell us how good the Cardinals are going to do.
Cardinals ain't going to do shit either. So.
Better than Auburn.
My two teams ain't going to do shit, okay?
All those teams are going to do better than my Tigers. So.
Yeah, so
none of them are going to do as good as your Chiefs, though.
Yeah,
that's
Chiefs are always good.
Yep.
So we're gonna tonight we're gonna have, what is it, part 8?
I believe it is. I'd have to check the number. I think it's part 7. Part 8 was unleashed last night.
Yeah,
7 is tonight
part
on
7
Couture.
of Knights of the Republic tonight, where me and Joe yell at each other. We swear, tell each other to go fuck themselves. You don't know what you're doing. And
I think I'm gonna marathon those this weekend because I
gotta
just put it on 1.5 speed and just.
Oh yeah, okay. Yes. The first show, Knock, just skip an hour and a half in because he didn't do shit in the first one.
No, it's the second one. It's the second episode you need to skip because that night I just ran around the map over and over again. Didn't know how to move on. Yeah,
that's before you figured out how to read the map.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we do that, and then was today Wednesday. If Retro is around, me and Retro and Joe and whoever else wants to come on, we'll be doing
probably this
Society.
And Das Wolfen, I know I saw him on there last time.
And like all these guys come on my channel all the time, like for MFR and whatever, and I go on other people's channel. They're with us too. So, and then Freddie, the MFR Roadhouse, we made it to 11.
Roadhouse.
I'm shocked. We have special guests. He a Domination AJ. He is a really cool dude. I met him last week on Wookie's channel. Here, I'm going to show you this. This is his page right here. Let me switch it.
I think he's an artist, right?
Yeah, he's an artist. This is his page on Twitter. Go follow him. He's a good dude. He's going to be our special guest on the MFR this week. So people are like, dude, you've been having guests
while you're talking.
I'm
going to look up his link and get it real quick.
Yeah, I'll get it for you right here.
Okay,
I got it.
Drop it in the chat, and I'll put it in there.
Well, I'm a mod. I can do that in there. Right?
And he is better than Abomination in She-Hulk.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
I liked Abomination and She-Hulk.
Here is his link right there. If you can put that up.
Yep. You just did it, so I can't copy it that way. You got to drop it in the private chat for me, but that's okay. Just drop it in there, and I appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you very, very, very much. You got a final word for us, Matt? What's going on with you, buddy?
Pretty much the same as always. You can catch me here Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Central, and then occasionally on Jed's channel on Friday nights. But that's pretty much it. And
being sad on Saturdays.
Come on!
I'm sad on Saturdays too.
They're going to do better. They're going to do better.
It's a rebuilding year.
It's a rebuilding year.
How long since Cam has been there?
Oh man, you're just vicious, dude.
Look,
this is coming from a Boise State fan. All right,
it's true. Now,
so,
there's only one reason I'm a Boise State fan. That's because they have a Bronco and they really cool fields.
there you go.
Yeah,
and I'm just stuck with them.
Yeah.
All right, John, tell us what's up with you, man.
Well, besides all the pop culture minefield stuff, you can find me here on State of the Atmosphere. Sometimes I pop in on the gaming stuff. And you can find me on that 70s Rock Fan channel on Mondays for It's Only Talk and Roll, and that's at 4 Central. But you can catch my streams on my channel at Real Das Wolfen. That is 4 Central on Tuesdays normally. Last week was a special exception, but now that I'm back to streaming, it's going to go back to the original 4 p.m. Central time. And I am doing part 2 of the Godzilla Showa era movies, where I break down the movies and the plots and stuff. And to finish that up, hopefully, I think I can finish it in episode 2. But you can go back and check out episode 1 on my channel. But excuse me. But other than that, like I said, just pop culture minefield.
He does show up on an EMF or every now and then.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah, he does.
We all collaborate with each other. We have a good time doing it. Let's see, Bucks for the win. She says. Okay.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know, right?
Enjoy Baker over there. Maybe he'll.
Oh my God!
Maybe he'll have some commercials where he's on the ship. He's like, "Yeah, I got a new ship," or something.
Yeah,
like that.
right.
Now you got to wonder. That's Bucks with a K. Maybe that's Ohio State Buckeyes.
Could be.
College and pro.
And either way, it's going to be an uphill battle. That's
maybe
for
they're
sure.
a basketball fan.
And it gonna be crying in her beer.
Exactly.
Well, let me let you know what's going on with Joe's Atmosfere, guys. You're watching State of the Atmosphere. We do it every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. for a couple of hours. Talk about the stuff we love in the pop culture sphere of things. And then later on this evening, you can catch my friends that are up late. Jed's usually there for this one because he loves this game. But some other friends show up as well sometimes when they're up late. Papa Joe Gamer After Dark at 10 p.m. Central Time. Knights of the Old Republic Part 7, I believe. Yeah. We're making progress. Me and the tweener Twillick and the Wookiee are running around.
Oh, he likes that Twi'lek. So,
stop it! I don't even like having it around.
Twi'leks
and
are
then,
only
of course,
good for lap dances.
The Brothers Hack the Matrix every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central. That's where me and my brother do our political show, where we show you the week's headlines and let you know what's going on behind the scenes. And then, of course, on Saturdays, you can watch me sketch The Privateer, the comic book I've been writing for 20 years and finally working on. And then on Mondays, you can see me on Morning Coffee with Gary when he does Military Mondays, and they're finally going to do the Point Men this week. I double checked it before the show, John. He's finally going to do it. So that's going to be Monday at 10 a.m.
Your net will go out again.
Right, my net will go out again. Yeah, of course it will. And that's brought to you by Pop Culture Minefield and KGRA Radio. And then, of course, It's Only Talk and Roll on That 70s Rock Fans channel. I hate that I missed my favorite rock band ever.
Dude, he 70s, he told me, he's like, damn it, my net went out, and he finally did Foreigner.
Yeah, and they did a great show. He did a great job on it. And love this band. And I'm not sure what he's doing this week. It's either a movie of a scientific type or a band or something. Sometimes it's the Rock and Roll Rowdies, the band of managers and stuff that from back in the day. But always check him out at 4 p.m. Central Time on Mondays. And then, of course, it's right back around to Tuesday where we start again with the first episode of Papa Joe Gamer during the week on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Central. And this week I'm going to do DCWO. I haven't touched it in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So it's time to get back into it because I do love that game So I want to tell my panel that I appreciate you coming. I wouldn't be able to do the show without you, especially a Star Wars show, because I know like 1/10 of what you guys know about this stuff. I know the movies, but that's all I know.
Well, I'm always glad to show up.
I know you are,
what's
buddy.
What's that thing in the background?
That's his voice changer. He's messing with it. But
all I know is whenever Joe missed that stream, he was hot-blooded.
I was hot-blooded. I was urgent to get my damn friggin' internet power back. Damn it!
You were waiting for a stream like that.
I was waiting for yes. Damn it! Damn it!
It was a good stream. It was fun.
I'm sure it was fun. Yeah, it's Irish luck, guys. That's what it is. I keep telling my wife that Irish luck is an actual force of nature, and there's no better proof than that right there.
Yeah,
I got my internet back at 8:15 that night. About an hour after you went off the air. Yep. Just, ugh.
By that time you had double vision, you know.
Right. No, I'm going to have double vision here in a couple of hours when I play
he's like,
but anyway, look, guys. I have got a steak the Royal Fox is bringing me. Let's check the chat one more time before we get out of here. I already did it on PCM. I did an entire show on the Point Men. Yeah, gotcha. And this week it's Anthony Garcia, Texas musician. Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, I will be there this week, bar a thunderstorm that knocks out my friggin' power for a week again. I just couldn't believe I couldn't be there. But I was there in spirit, buddy. I super chatted you and everything during the show. It was a good show. You did a great job, even though I had great stories to tell, man. Damn it. But anyway, look, guys, thanks for being here. And Knock, Jed, Das Wolfen, Matt from Small Time Republic. I couldn't do it without you, and I appreciate you greatly. Thanks for coming. And for the rest of you, thanks for coming by. Give me a follow on Rumble if you're over there. Give me a subscribe over here on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter if you're watching over there. And until I see you guys again, I want you to keep on keeping on. God bless. no, that's the wrong piece of John Williams music. You got to go. You know.